Welcome to Dinner DeeAs. If you don't know what to have for dinner tonight, then give us half an hour and we'll show you how to make this direct from a restaurant menu to your table. Chicken Marsala served with Parmesan polenta. In the kitchen with me to make this magnificent meal is Chef Jason Lutz. Today, we're going to be tackling an Italian-American classic. We're going with chicken marsala. That's going to be the star right here, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
But to get there, we got to start with the side first. And we're going with polenta. What's the difference between polenta and grits?
The polenta costs a little bit more when you put it on a plate.
So that's the difference.
That's the difference.
It's the big difference. It's
Exactly.
perceived value and the pricing then to it there. All right. So how do we start then with this a little bit more, reserved, a little bit higher quality, a little bit more of the moolah there.
Yeah.
Refine's the word we're looking for. Polenta then. How do we get this started?
So we're gonna we got our water going here. We added some butter to it, and a little bit of salt, and we're gonna slowly whisk in the polenta.
Okay.
So slowly kind of pour it in so the grains don't get clumpy. And the steady stream, we want to keep on pouring while you whisk in until all of it is in. Nice job, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Chef. Now, is this going to be like a risotto that you have to kind of keep constantly stirring, or?
It does take a little while.
Okay.
There's different types of polenta. Some are quick cooking, some take a little bit longer. This one's a little bit longer. It usually take about a half hour or so to make, and then it'll hold for quite a while just sitting on the oven.
To make this marsala for your dinner tonight, and we promise that, yes, you at home, you can do it. Chef Jason's recipe with all the ingredients and the directions that you'll need are on our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just grab your phone, open the camera app as if you're taking a photo, not a video, point at the QR code, which is in the corner of the screen, and a link to our site will appear. All right, Chef, should I let this be now? Am I
Turn it down a little bit?
Okay.
And then maybe just take it off the burner
Take it off a little bit of the heat
yeah.
for right now. Fantastic.
Yeah, kind of leave it there.
Very good. We'll let that kind of just bubble on the side there for
If
it.
you would hand me the oil, we're going to sear up the chicken next.
All right.
We'll get the chicken started.
Very
We're
good.
going to put some
What type
vegetable
of
oil in there.
Little vegetable oil.
Got a little bit of water in it.
And vegetable oil for this dish, you like to be able, because it's neutral, because it has a little
It's
flavor.
neutral.
behind
It's
it.
got a high smoke point. This has got a little bit high here, but we could still just drop our chicken in. We get a little sear on there.
And what kind of flour are we working for?
It's all-purpose flour.
Okay. And then that was just a little bit of dredging there.
Yeah, we leave some room. We don't want to crowd the pan too much.
Okay.
When we start putting the chicken in, it's going to cool the pan down. So if you throw everything in there all at once, it's not going to come out the same.
So you could say, hey, if you needed to, because of your family or who you're entertaining, you could do it in batches.
Absolutely. You could do a little bit at a time. And we're going to cool down the pan by adding a little bit more oil back to it.
While our browning of our chicken is going to happen on both sides, we're taking a break. And when we come back, how to make the marsala sauce and everything you need to know ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Today, we're making an Italian classic, chicken marsala, with Chef Jason Lutz from Grace Restaurant and Pasta Grill. Before the break, we started on our side of Parmesan polenta by boiling water with butter, whisking in the polenta grains, adding salt, and leaving it to thicken. Then we floured our chicken breasts and seared them in a little bit of oil, but they're not ready just yet. We're gonna take them out of the pan so everything else can go in. So the chicken, you looked, it was
Chicken
done.
looks good. It's ready to go for our next step.
How do you know that it's done? What are you looking for in particular?
Well, you look for it to be, kind of take a little peek at it and kind of look in the fattest area and see if there's anything raw in it. A lot of people use a thermometer and make sure it's at about 169 degrees. There's various different ways, but you can just kind of tell by looking at it. And we're going to heat it up a little more, so we don't want it to heat we don't want it to cook too much. We're going to end up heating it up with the sauce at the end.
Sure.
So we want it to kind of be right on the edge.
So that way then you're not going to dry it out.
Right, exactly.
Okay, perfect. So then what just went into our pan then?
So we dropped a little butter in the pan that we just used for the chicken, and we're going to start searing the mushrooms.
And the trick is, don't think that you need another pan. Use the same pan.
It's got
all those flavors.
all the flavors loaded in there from the chicken that we just cooked. So we're going to try to get those inside of the mushroom itself
Okay.
to add some flavor to the mushroom and make it even better than it already is.
All right, let's get these mushrooms into this party here.
So kind of work this butter around. We got a really hot pan. So we want a good sear on the mushrooms. Here we have some cremini mushrooms, and we have some shiitake mushrooms. They both cook differently. The cremini will take a little bit longer than the shiitake, so I'll start with that one. It's always good to keep your mushrooms separated, as there's some very delicate mushrooms that take no time at all. So to mix them with another one,
You don't want to do that.
it just kills it, and it ends up just shriveling up to nothing.
For Chef Jason's marvelous Marsala method, just head over to our website, dinnerdeas.com, where you can grab the recipe, which has all of the ingredients and the directions, all printer friendly and ready to go. Just scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to grab it. How are these mushrooms coming along?
We're getting there. We're getting
Okay.
a little, probably go ahead and add the shiitakes in there.
And when you have mushrooms side by side, can you taste the difference between each of the different varieties?
I think you can. I think it's a texture thing. Sometimes, just the way that it cooks up, and some of them will just turn a little bit softer, and some of them will be a little bit more firm and
Sure.
hold up to more heat.
But it still just has such a warm, inviting note right here into the I'm smelling all of this with this hot pan right now, and it's just such an earthy tone to it there that it's just, for me, I love it.
Yeah, I can see you're a mushroom lover.
I am. I've always been a fun guy. All right, so just a little bit of butter.
Yeah, let's get a little bit more moisture in there. We could
Okay.
add some of our shallots. I like to do this kind of as it gets going, so they don't just disappear. Kind of get those going.
Just a little bit of
It'll
shallots.
suck up the flavor of the shallot. So we could add our tomato paste. We're starting to build the sauce now and get some browning on this tomato paste.
Now, what will the tomato paste do in terms of the flavor, and how will that complement the dish?
So this is like a classical French technique that uses tomato paste, charred tomato paste, and red wine. It's how you make a brown sauce, which is one of the 5 mother sauces. And this is kind of how you do it. You want to cook the tomato paste good. You can't just throw it in there and just let it go. It's got to be toasted and almost to the point of being charred up. So it's going to add a lot of flavor to it.
And this is just an entire dish in where we're at right now. It's just layer upon layer upon layer of flavor and timing to make sure
Absolutely.
you're activating all of the ingredients at the right moment, so that way then you can really celebrate that dish in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to kind of stir that around a little
I
bit?
certainly will.
We're going to take a little bit of a flour that we used earlier just to get it kind of thick a little bit, not too much.
Now, with the flour here, that's just very light.
It's
Just
going to be a
just-
binder. It helps kind of speed up the thickening process as we move along through the rest of the dish.
And that was just the all-purpose plain flour that you have in the cupboard that time to bring it out and use?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They call it all-purpose for a reason, right?
That's it.
So we're going to, now that we're getting a little bit charred up, some nice color on the tomato paste, we'll put some garlic in there.
Okay.
And a couple bay leaves, get those toasted with the tomato paste.
It smells so good.
Looks like you're getting to a nice point. We can start adding some wine. And then once again, it'll start absorbing into the mushrooms, and we'll start creating our sauce.
And walk us through that wine.
That's a red wine, a Cabernet. Gives it a lot of good flavors, all the tannins and sugars in there, and the vinegar background on it. It's going to make for a nice sauce base. So So we'll let that thicken up a little bit, and we can finish up. We don't want to waste any, so we'll add the rest of our wine. We'll let that cook down.
You can never waste the wine. You got to put it always to the last drop.
Right? Well, looks like we're starting to get a good reduction on there. It's starting to, the wine and the tomato paste is starting to form a little sauce base. Once it cooks down a little bit more, we're going to add some of our vegetable stock. You could use chicken stock. You could purchase it, at the grocery store. We make our own vegetable stock at the restaurant with some.
And you were actually so kind enough because you've given us that recipe for the website. So at home, folks, if you want to do it like Chef Jason is at the restaurant, you have that opportunity to do it too.
Absolutely. With our vegetable stock, we take some white onion, saute it a little bit, put some color on it, hit it with a good amount of salt. That way that the vegetable stock has some flavor at the end. We add some carrots, some celery, some fennel tops.
See, I love that because so many people will throw away vegetables thinking like, hey, I'm done with it. But no, you don't need to be done with it. You can make a beautiful stock and not have any food waste happening at the same time.
Absolutely. It makes it a little healthier too if you go with the vegetable stock. And you could do this as a vegetarian dish just on its own without the chicken using the vegetable stock. We'd also add peppercorns, fennel seeds, cook that part first, and then we'll finish it with some dried herbs, some parsley stems, thyme, and some more bay leaves and lots of garlic kind of towards the beginning of that.
Now, have you ever, for home, have you ever taken an ice tray and then poured it and measured out and then freeze it and put it into a Ziploc bag so you have it ready to go in the event that you want it?
I have not tried that yet.
Okay, you haven't tried it yet, folks.
That could be a good cocktail too, right?
You can totally make that as you can have some fun with that one. But that's what we do at the house. And so that way then, when we're going through the whole process of making a stock, hey, what am I going to do with all of it?
Great idea.
I freeze it, I put it in some Ziploc bags, I date it, it's there in the freezer, it's ready to go when I need it. And yeah.
Looks like we're getting a good amount of the wine cooked down.
So we just wanted to thicken that just a little bit and then just add a little bit more liquid back into it so we can concentrate those flavors. And now what are we looking for?
For the rest of it to come together, we're just waiting for some reduction, which sometimes will take a few minutes for that to all happen.
All right, well, we're going to take a break because this sauce has to simmer. But fear not, we shall return with how to finish this delicious idea for dinner and plate it like a pro. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Our idea for your dinner tonight is from Chef Jason Lutz. He's the owner of Grace Restaurant and Pasta Grill, and he's been sharing a recipe ripped from the pages of their menu, the classic chicken marsala made with Parmesan polenta. Before the break, we set our seared chicken to one side while we made our marsala sauce with mushrooms, shallots, then deglazed it with red wine, added some stock that's been simmering away during the break, and got to be chicken marsala with a little bit of marsala.
We're going to add a marsala wine. Let that start cooking down.
Okay.
We want the marsala wine. It has the most flavor, and you want it to really stand out because it is chicken marsala. So we put it in at the end, so you lose some of the alcohol and the content in it, but it'll still have a little bit there. Put the kids to bed early, maybe. Right?
That's the spirit. That's the one, all right? And what's this going in next?
So now we got a little bit of heavy cream. Just kind of lighten it up a little bit.
Now, is this where I can have a little taste myself now?
Absolutely.
I've been waiting. This is one of my favorites. Oh, that's the one right there. I'm going with that little mushroom too. Gotta get that bad boy in there. Oh, missed it, but that's all right. Can I jump in that instead of the chicken? Because I really want to go start doing some laps.
Right.
I want to go start swimming in that. That is very good.
You got to go with the thigh first, or breast first.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll do a little bit of that. Now we're going to heat up the chicken again, put the breast back in, and while we finish up the rest of the dish.
Oh, it's fantastic. And how can I help you with finishing up the rest of the dish?
So now we're going to, if you want to just maybe stir the polenta a little bit, make sure that that's in a good shape.
Okay. You
might need to thin it out a little.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm I'm throwing a little bit of
some
butter.
butter.
I'm throwing in the butter because that's for flavor right there. That'll help bring a little bit more movement behind it too.
And we can go ahead and drop the broccolini in the water. We did some salt in the water, pretty heavily salted.
Okay.
Help you out there, Chef.
Thank you. And this is just going to be for our broccolini here?
Yep, we're gonna blanch that. The salt brings out the chlorophyll in any green vegetable. It's gonna make it brighter, stay nice and crisp. So go ahead and drop that in there now.
And why broccolini as the side?
It gives it a good color to the dish when we present it. Broccolini has been very popular at the restaurant. We have people that love it. It goes very well with mushrooms and the earthiness of the mushroom.
Love it. Now, I got some cheese for you too, Chef.
Absolutely.
I'll pour in, you stir.
Like we said, cheese it up.
Cheese it up. Let's do it because to make this marsala for your dinner tonight, Chef Jason's recipe with all the ingredients and directions you'll need is on our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code in the corner of your screen. Look at that. Beautiful. Is that coming along nicely?
Submerge a little bit of that. Still a little bit.
Yeah,
out.
I gotta have.
Sure.
I'm gonna take a spoon
Take
here,
a spoon.
and I'm just gonna dump it and go here. There we go.
All right.
And how long will this need to take?
It's a pretty quick process, so we'll pull it out of the water in maybe a couple more minutes or less, season it up, and then we're gonna plate up for you.
I love it. How do you plate it? What is the technique? What is the first step on this one? How do we get this?
I also like the polenta on the bottom. It kind of gives it some height on the plate.
Okay.
It kind of stands it up. And then after that, we'll put some of the broccolini underneath it. I usually try to set it to where the florets are off to the side so you could see it. And then we're gonna put some of the sauce, put the chicken down and then some of the sauce with the mushrooms over the top.
You wanna do it together?
Do it together.
Let's go for it.
All right.
All right, let's get this going.
All right. So here's the polenta. We get a nice little scoop, depending on how hungry you are. Usually 2, it's probably good. Come around here.
All right, I'll help
Take
you.
it from you.
Actually, if you just give me
Get
those tongs here, I'll help you with the tongs
Yes, sir.
there. And bring this back over here.
There
And you
you
just
go.
said you just go straight on top.
Yeah, we
You
put
just
a
go
couple
straight-
little pieces. Go. We're gonna alternate them. Some on that side, so the stems are in the middle.
Nice.
Florets kind of hang off the side.
Okay, so you're playing off of the shape a little bit
yeah,
too.
so you could kind of see, the guests could see it.
Oh, lovely. Okay. And what do you think? About 3, 4 per?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
one more little one there is probably good.
All right, let's try to find. Oh, I got a big one here.
There you go. Now we'll put a little seasoning on that.
Okay.
Okay. A little salt, a little pepper. And if you had a little cheese left, we could put a little bit of cheese on it.
Oh, don't you worry about that part. That's
He's trying to take the cheese home.
You know, like I went a little light on the salt for that simple reason. I was like, hey, you know, this is
You got a to-go cup for that, right?
Exactly. All right.
All right. Now that's the final part. We've got our chicken.
Look at that.
Do a little bit of this on top.
We're just gonna go one right on top,
Yeah.
and then you just get a nice little bit of a ladle here.
Do our
Oh,
ladle.
look at that.
That one's trying to get away.
That was the
there,
one
Chef.
that was just dancing. Took my dance spot. I wanted to go swimming in this one. He's like, no, I want to dance. I want to dance on it.
So we get a nice little mound of our mushrooms. And we're gonna finish up with a couple garnishes, some fresh parsley. And we have some microgreens, which is a mixture of parsley, looks like some chervil.
Absolutely beautiful for an Italian classic to be reimagined in such a way. Look how stunning this looks. Absolutely
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Because if you want to see any of this recipe over again, you have to watch Dinner Diaz at any time that you want, because you can at YouTube. We're at Dinner Diaz. Browse our archive of ideas and like and subscribe, which is what Michelle did. She watched and made Maria Rumlin's meatloaf, but she used ground turkey. She said, so glad I watched this show, and the video to use it was step by step. It was so delicious. Michelle, thank you so much for watching. And when we come back, we're taste testing today's dinner idea of chicken marsala and the Parmesan polenta ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Today we're joined by Chef Jason Lutz, who's been sharing his recipe for the classic Italian-American dish, chicken marsala. We served it with a Parmesan polenta and a side of broccolini. It's my favorite part of the show, my friend.
Absolutely,
it's the digging in time. So let's try this out. What should we be tasting here?
Well, you taste the richness of the mushrooms, a little bit of the earthiness as well. We got a little bit of bitterness from the greens, and lots of cheese on the polenta.
Cheesy.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Chef Jason Lutz, a link to his restaurant and his recipe from today's show are all on our website, dinnerdeas.com. If you make it, send us a photo and let us know how it turned out. I'm Jeff Philbin. See you next time with more Dinner DeeAs.